This is the arm, a robot that plays chess. You've seen that, but not one this bad at it. Great handshake, though.
Okay, I blundered McKean. Can we like... Yes, guys, we're building a robotic hand to play chess with me. I couldn't find any real person in like 300 kilometers range to play. So, and believe me, I tried. Did I use some easy solution like buying chess.com subscription or some already pre-built kit for the robotic arm? No, we are not doing like this here. Okay, this gym membership pays off. Okay, so I bought a 3D printer and we're gonna unpack it here. So here it takes handleless care. We're gonna take care of this bad boy. So this is a Bamboo Lab X1 series, some carbon stuff. Okay, that's it. As it is my first robotic project, I've decided to go with an open source S100 ARM repo that has all the 3D models and some instructions to follow. S100 ARM comes as a duo, leader and follower arm. You control leader arm with your hand and the follower copies whatever you do. This is used for recording training data. We only need the follower arm for our case, so that's what we are building. It took almost 12 hours to print all the parts, but once they are ready, the whole assembling is just 2 hours of screwing and clipping. It uses 6 servo motors with gear ratio 1 to 345. As inputs, servo motors take a rotation angle from 0 to 360 degrees. After assembly is finished, we need to connect to each motor separately with control board and assigned ID values from 1 to 6. Connect the motors in the daisy chain and then to the board, so later we can address each motor through the index in the code. Easy, Tucker. Easy. Easy. Look what I have here. This is what I have assembled. This is a robotic hand that will take these chess pieces and will do like this. No? Ping. Ping. It has 6 degrees of freedom, so it can basically move freely around like this, you know. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, easy. So yeah, this is what we're gonna work with. A demonstration. Our hand will move on top of the horsey and then it will grab it like this. I guess don't trust everything you see on the internet. During tests, I've noticed that gripper frequently missed the piece while trying to grab it. S100 ARM gripper has a very small surface area of the two fingers. At the base, our chess pieces are circles. When fingers do not grab it perfectly through the middle, they just slide left or right, out of the grip. I think we need a bigger nozzle. For that, I've designed new finger nozzles in Blender to just clip them on top of the default fingers. It didn't work well from the first time, but a couple of designs later, we fixed the problem and it works much more consistently now. It can move, and it knows where it moved to. It can't see though. It's pretty good at self-play now, but there's only that many times you can watch robot's hand lose to itself. My goal here is still playing it and eventually winning, so I need a way to make it aware of my turns and state of the board. It's a point in the story where this beautiful creature gains eyes. Well, one eye. This is what they call in literature a Sauron's tower. So we'll put it nearby the hand and we'll mount the camera through this so we can see everything through it and decide what is the position on the board. The eye is a 1 megapixel 140 degree wide angle camera. Why wide angle? Because I don't want to mount the thing to the ceiling. with 140 degrees of field of view, even from about 40 centimeters above a 25 by 25 chessboard, we still get a really nice chunk of pixels per square, more than enough to tell a pawn from a bishop. Or at least that's what I keep telling myself. Now, here's a fun thing nobody warns you about. You point the camera at a perfectly straight chessboard, and on the picture, the lines are curved, like someone put your board image through the snapshot filter. That's lens distortion, and every camera has it. Wide-angle ones are just worse about it. We need to teach the software how exactly our specific lens bend the image. Find those internal parameters and then mathematically undo the warping. The way you do it, you print out this black and white checkboard pattern called an ArUco calibration board. Wave it around in front of the camera. Snap like 20 to 30 images from different angles and distances. Feed them to OpenCV and it spits out a set of numbers. Those describe your lens distortion. Apply those numbers and boom, straight lines are straight again. Our board is grid now, our calculations won't be off anymore. How do you teach a pretty dumb thing that only knows how to pick things up to play chess? You start with making it aware of the board. Kind of. We're gonna utilize what is called a reference point, since chessboard is a perfect square, split into 64 smaller ones. To get to any of them, it's enough to know a pair of diagonal squares, like A1 and H8 or H1 and A8. Using this method, called bilinear interpolation, we can mix two reference points to get to any square inside of the board. The perfect case would be if each motor controlled the movement along separate orthogonal axes, and we could plan the movement for each motor independently. But we have this thing flapping around with 6 motors, so we gotta get creative. Instead of 2 points, now we need at least 4. Better 8 if you want to be really sure. To be more specific, for corner squares, down and top position. Down is a position near the board where arm grabs or releases a piece. During travel, to grab a piece, our arm can knock other pieces down. To avoid that, we introduce top positions for safe travel. Finally, we teach our arm 11 moves. Home, position where it waits for any action, grip open and close to release and grab the piece, and 8 position on the board itself. Now, you might ask, what if the board moves? I glued this thing down to the table. But our arm and I, they both are actually useless without the proper software. We need 2 main components. One, the software that will keep track of the board. So in the program inside, at each state, we know the current position of all the pieces. And the second component, so the arm needs to move, right? So we need to give it the best next move given the current state. So for that, we can use some open source engine. And the good thing about those engines that they can vary the level, the difficulty level at which you're playing. So basically an YOLO. I just hope it can get that low. Stockfish is a popular choice. It's easy to configure and install. But the board state tracking requires a bit of design. Let's start simple. We're gonna track the board position and snap the chess grid on top of it, giving each square a proper name convention, like A1, C2, E4, etc. Next, we can use a reference frame. After a game starts, and we wait for the human, me, to move, we will use that frame to compare to the current one. This will give us a difference heat map. Because current frame will be different from the one we snapped before, this means something is going on over there. Once we spot a stable difference, like one piece disappeared from the first square and appeared on the next one, it means the move was made. We can always double check which square had a piece on top of it and if the move was legal. This worked perfect at first, but once you move a bigger piece, like bishop, queen or king, a problem appears. As our camera is placed at some angle, those bigger pieces cast shadow on nearby squares, so sometimes it is hard to understand what piece moved there, as we have 3 or 4 potential squares to consider instead of 2. It's a good time to use a more powerful methods like object detection. We'll use YOLO model trained on different chess datasets, so it can recognize pieces on the board. But because our camera sucks a bit and it's not perfect, the accuracy is about 80-85%, it's still hard to differentiate all pieces, but it's very good at spotting them. So after tuning tracking params, we now have two-step decision software. First, we look for stable frame difference on two or more squares. Once this condition is met, we look at detected YOLO boxes to understand which piece attached to new square. Check if it's valid move, and voila, tracking is ready. Stockfish decides on next move, ARM moves the piece. Amazing.
There are days a chess player waits for their entire life. Today is one of them. He has beaten the finest players the park has to offer. The retired, the distracted, the 8-year-olds. He has never lost a game in front of a witness he could not outrun. This is Ostap. His rating is publicly available. We have chosen, out of respect, not to read it aloud. Every great player has a ritual. It has been a long time since he faced a serious opponent. The serious ones stopped saying yes. But today, an opponent is waiting. And this one cannot say no.
I see, you already got yours.
Two players meet for the first time. In the wild, such encounters are rare. One has spent a lifetime studying the board. The other was switched on 4 minutes ago. Protocol demands a handshake. Neither competitor fully understands why. The arm is the newest player at this table. It learned how the knight moves before it learned to keep its own hand level.
It already detected the wrong move. Like it thought my king moved. But it was my pawn actually. Okay, never mind. I did not move. I did not move. Maybe second time is a charm. Movie magic.
It cannot bluff. It cannot panic. It feels nothing. And when this machine is allowed to attack, it is genuinely, seriously dangerous.
No worries, I will help you, bro. No worries sometimes happen to the best of us.
We are now 30 minutes into this game. Neither player is winning. Both players are, somehow, losing. In chess, there is a position called zugzwang, a position where every move you can make only makes things worse.
I need a little bit of help, no worries. No worries, I got you, bro.
Ostap has reached zugzwang, against an opponent that cannot see him, and then against everything. The machine does something no one planned for. It plays a good move.
Okay, I blundered my king. Can we do that again? Or I lost my queen accidentally. Can we just restart it?
The arm returns to its corner, calm, patient, victorious-ish.
Okay, you checked me. Okay, that's that's not a problem at all. I have a knight here in my little defense club.
Ostap is ready to concede the game. The arm, however, is not finished. It reaches for a piece. There is no piece. It does not matter. The arm moves it anyway, with total conviction, to a square that means nothing, and wins a game only it is aware of. This thing is dangerous when allowed to do absolutely anything at all. Ostap should have been more careful.
Yeah, I lost my game, guys. Kasparov lost his to Deep Blue in 1997, so who could blame us both, right? There were a couple of technicalities during the game, but after I added more elimination to the board, it went much more smoother. If you would ask me what I would do differently while creating this project, I probably would use a better hand because this one is pretty complex, I would say. It has 6 degrees of freedom, meaning the whole tracking and controlling and planning the moves is pretty hard and over-engineered in the code. If I only use 3 motors that would control the arm in each orthogonal axis, meaning like back, forward, back, left to right, and up, down, and the accuracy would be much better and the whole flow would be much more smoother. I really enjoyed doing this project. Robotic projects is something that I wanted to do for a really long time, and I finally started doing this. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, put your likes, and leave your comments. I will try to read them and respond. There will be more videos of me building robots for very stupid use cases. So, see you!